Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be with you here at the 2025 Berlinale. Maybe you could just begin with a brief introduction to yourselves and to your film Queerpanorama.
Hi, I'm Jun Li. I'm the director of Queerpanorama. I'm from Hong Kong, and we made this film in Hong Kong. We're selected in the Berlinale Panorama section. I'm glad to be here. This is my actor, Jayden Cheung.
Hi, I'm Jayden. I'm the actor from Hong Kong, and I'm the lead actor in this film, Queerpanorama.
And maybe you can just tell us a bit about the genesis of the project. What sparked the idea for the film? Was it the character, the setting, this way that he likes to reinvent himself? What was the spark of the idea?
Well, the spark of the idea is I always want to talk about the relationship between me and my partner. We're in an open relationship, and we talk a lot about each other, but we never appear together. And especially when we're meeting someone else outside of a relationship, and we describe a partner, and then sometimes it doesn't feel real to the other person or to our friends because we live in different cities. I live in Hong Kong, especially during the pandemic. We haven't been physically together for 1.5 years, and I live in Hong Kong. He live in New York City, and we were apart for so long. So when we meet new people, new friends, we describe them, and then there was one time when I was in New York City after the pandemic, and I got introduced to his friend, and they say, "Oh, the boyfriend was real." He was offended that they think that I am not real, and it got me thinking that our relationship, the realness of it, or the time that we live in, and also the others, how do we experience this time together? So it starts with this idea, and then it developed into a journey, more like a episodic road movie, because we meet someone, and then that character lives something in the story, and then we never see him appear again. As our protagonist move along the journey, everyone has a contribution to this identity that he has.
And what was it for you that was really appealing about playing, I guess, not just one character because of this shifting identity? It's a few different characters in a way. So was that both alluring but also a challenge in some respects?
It's a challenge because we agreed that we don't really embodied the entirely, the different characters in the protagonist's body and in his talk. So it was basically just some spice from the other characters, and then we how it affects the protagonist to talking to people, to his behavior, or his interaction with different people, or his point of view on the world. So it's not a huge challenge, but I'll say it's definitely one thing that is very interesting and very exciting to play with.
The character is kind of both an observer, but also he's manipulative. Did you see him as, an actor, kind of a thief, something in between? How did you kind of see this character?
Well, the prototype is basically Jun, our director, and would you want to talk a bit about it?
Yes, he steals identity from the characters he met, but then the biggest thing that he steal to play this character is from me, the posture that I normally have, the way that I talk, because it's quite obvious that it is semi-autobiographical. So I see that through the screen. I see what he's doing through the screen, and I like it. And and there are bits in the story, in the plot, that we add up together, but it's very subtle. It's like not that he plays, but one of the biggest reference though is Holy Motor, the French film. It's like he really plays different characters in the stories, and we see him putting on makeup and trying to prep for a character. But then that is one of the reference that I asked him to watch, but not as literal. It's like very subtle way of putting that act together.
So the different encounters range from tender to violent to playful to uncomfortable. What did you want to achieve by showing all those different sorts of scenes? And was there one that you found particularly difficult, whether that was from your perspective to shoot, or maybe for you, that, whether it was emotionally or challenging?
The scenes that is in the rural part of Hong Kong is like technically the most difficult part to shoot because of its location, and it's so hard to get there, and when we get there we're already tired. But also because almost all of the actors are non-professional actors, so it is a big challenge for them to remember all these dialogues and in the long take, and to be able to remember all the blocking at the same time, be in character and interact naturally. So I think the part with Stefan it's very challenging. I was so nervous before shooting Stefan because it's in a rural area, and it's also because our actor Bashan is a little older, so it's harder for him to remember all that lines. But he did great. He did amazing.
I was thinking about the same as well. Scene is something a little bit more challenging because Stefan's scene was a little bit more challenging, but in general, I think it's basically very similar, the difficulties. So I don't see anyone and any scene like particularly very difficult. There's some different interesting scenes, but in terms of the difficulties, I can't really think of any. But yeah, Stefan, it's one of the played by one of the non-professional actors. So yeah, it's maybe a little bit more difficult, I guess.
And maybe you can talk a bit about the aesthetic of the film, kind of the look and feel. Was that also, did you take cues from other films or filmmakers in that respect?
Well, the look of it's just natural to put it that way because I want the character come into this space and explore this space while the other character live in this place. So he is more natural and more comfortable in it. So it just makes sense for me to have this static camera to cover the environment that they're in, the space, the interior space that they're in, and see this interaction in a full picture. I think, well, obviously, one of my biggest inspiration for this film is Hong Sang-soo's film. Without the zoom, though, it's his signature. But the way that everyone conduct themselves very naturally and comfortably in this environment is what I want to go for. I mean, I am not the kind of director who would stick with one visual style. I think I like to adopt different visual style for the sake of the story. It's like, what is the best way to tell that particular story? And this one, I think the DP and I have found the best way to tell this particular story.
And in terms of the takeaways, what you want people to be thinking about or feeling when they leave the cinema, what do you think it perhaps has to say about, yearning for connection maybe, or finding your own identity? What do you think some of those takeaways might be?
It's about how we really listen to one another when they're talking, and the kindness we give to each other. It could be in very simple words. This film does not have a lot of plot, even though we make it so complicated. It's like a person stealing other identities, and we have so many cultural backgrounds and diversity. But it's a plotless film. It's about the state of listening to one another. It's about the state of how we give courage to each other to live in this turbulent time. I think in and out this film, the audience will see the kindness and the connection that we have as a team, or as a crew that is shooting a film in this time. So that is, I think, what I want the audience to take away.
I think it's something about companion, about how we meet different people in society, how we listen to different people in society, how we get the little kindness from them, and then try to make ourselves a little bit better, although sometimes it still chaotic, the world, but it's about this kind of little connection and companionship with different people, and it kind of shows that there's still someone with you, listening to you in this chaotic world. Yeah.
Oh, so nicely put. And what does it mean to you to have the film here at the Berlinale? And it feels like it's the perfect place for a film like this. You know, it's very much about bringing diverse voices, you know, bold cinema, you know, original, wanting to do things a bit differently. Why is this festival so important to you?
Well, I grew up with the Berlinale films, because one of the biggest reasons is because the HKIFF is in April, the Berlinale is in February, so it's like one of the regional bigger festival in Hong Kong. They take like films from the big European festivals, but then because of the proximity of the two festivals, so we watch a lot of Berlinale films in the HKIFF compared to Venice or Cannes, because it's like in different parts of the year. And so we grew up with that more. Berlinale, especially the panorama, it's like, it's the awakening, political, cultural, sexual awakening to many of us queer filmmakers. It's like the Berlinale has said that it's like queer cinema is the DNA of the Berlinale. And it's like we meet so many groundbreaking queer films in the Berlinale, and it's my honor to be here, to be part of it, to contribute to that legacy.
I didn't thought about this question when I arrived Berlinale. Before I arrived Berlinale, I was thinking, like, okay, Cannes is good, Venus is good as well, but the Berlinale, it's very much the perfect occasion to premiere this film, given that the things we shooted, the things we set in the film, and things happen outside the film, and I just think it is, you can say, a coincidence, but I think it's meant to be here to me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Huge congratulations on the film, and really enjoy the rest of your time here in Berlin.
Thank you.